Okay, paper 2 predictions videos. This is A2 accounting, AQA. But like I said, for paper 1, you better watch the paper 1 first, because paper 1's 22nd of May, this is the 1st of June. Maybe watch it for you, because there's a couple of hints in there, but I don't know what's coming up. This is prediction. I'm looking at patterns. I'm trying to guess what could come up. There's a couple of things I think will come up, but I have not got a clue. But could be useful. Helps you to prepare. Then that's all good. But you need to look at all the paper 2 topics. There's a lot of overlap between paper 1 and paper 2. Something to think about. And so some of the things on the list here were on the paper 1 video. So if they come up in paper 1, I wouldn't expect them to come up in paper 2. But if they don't, definitely need to keep an eye out. So internal and external audit, difference between financial management and accounting, provision for doubtful debts, accruals and disposals, all of those could be on paper 1 or paper 2. The provision for depreciation T account specifically, to be honest, that is part of disposals anyway, quite often, but that's something that could be in paper 1 or paper 2. So to keep an eye out, that could be one. Difference between profit and cash, again, could be on paper 1 and paper 2. It's in a spec area that it's in both, but predominantly has come up on paper 2. Something to keep an eye out. Can you deal with a range of transactions to how they differ in how they affect profit and cash flow? So for instance, if you paid a supplier, the payment to the supplier doesn't affect profit, but if you received a discount, it does. So you just have to be able to differentiate between the two. But paper 2 has been becoming more management account specific in recent years. So that's a good thing, but there's no guarantees it will continue in that trend, but it is something to think about, and think about the management account specific topics and how they could be assessed. Budgeted income statement is one way they could be assessed. They've had one in the last couple of years, but not a big involved one. If you look at the old AS papers, there's ones where you have to calculate all the units for purchases, closing inventory, expenses, all of that jazz. Have a look at those, because they could come up. There could be a big interesting. A big tariff or big mark question is what I'm trying to say, with a linked 6 marker, or could just be a small part of it, but something to keep an eye out for. Zero-based budgeting. A couple of years ago, there was a 6 marker explaining 2 benefits of incremental budgeting. Poorly answered, because lots of students write about the benefits of budgeting, which is not what the question asked for. Make sure you are aware of zero-based, incremental. Could be a 6 marker on zero-based, or it could be a bigger essay style question where you compare zero-based and incremental, which has come up in previous years. That was linked to computerized accounting, which, I'm honest, computerized accounting, it is a topic. It could come up on either paper. Break-even analysis could be assessed in lots of ways. It came up about 3 years ago as it was 3 years ago, not about 3 years ago, as a break-even chart, and you had to work out contribution, break-even, margin of safety, everything just off the chart. Make sure you can calculate break-even. Make sure you know how to do margin of safety. Read the charts, or explain the benefits or limitations of break-even. Feels like something that could come up this year. Linked to that is the contribution to sales ratio. You might be going, well, what's that? Well, if you are, it's a very small part of the spec, but it is there, and you can use contribution to sales to work out break-even revenue, target profit revenue, something to look at. Could be a small tariff question. It could be something that will pick up a few marks, and I think it will throw a few people if it did come up. Defining types of cost, not come up really at all. I think it was an AS paper where you had to define what a stepped cost is. A lot of students get the wording a little bit unclear on some of these costs. So make sure you've got fixed cost, variable cost, direct costs, indirect costs, marginal costs, semi-variable cost, step costs. There's lots of them. Make sure you can define them. Dealing with scarce resources has come up once. I keep on saying this every single year, but surely this is coming up this year. Got to. Came up before as a 14 marker. It's on the videos, but make sure you can deal with it. All the steps deal with this a scarce resource, so material labor, but also other ways that a business could do that. So maybe outsourcing as an option instead of profiting in the mix, so you can meet all the demand. Just think around scarce resources, but definitely the numerical side of it. Overhead absorption allocation come up once, as far as I can see, and that was a not simple, but simpler method, in that you had a couple production departments. You had to share overheads on a specific basis. So i.e., or e.g., if it was rent, you would share it by floor area. If it was supervisors, by the amount of employees, whatever information that's there. But what's never come up is reapportioning service departments. So if you put the overheads into all the departments, and then you've got a service one, well, that needs to go into the production cost centers, because we only want to put overheads in departments that can make a profit. So definitely something to look out for. Overhead absorption allocation with service reallocation could well be one that comes up, and it will be a little bit awkward if you haven't actually looked at it. Another thing that hasn't come up is absorption costing or marginal costing income statements. So yeah, that must be due. So looking at absorption costing, value of inventory, over and under absorption of overheads, marginal costing, focusing on fixed and variable costs, calculating contribution, make sure you can deal with those. Target profit, as far as I can see, only come up once. So working out your target profit for like some different permutations, so that variable cost, fixed cost, certain markup, then the new price, if those figures change, definitely something to review. Pretty sure it's 2022. If you have a look at that question, I've done a video on that one as well. And yeah, that could be due as well. Cash budget. You're always going to have some kind of budget questions. Maybe it is a budget in income statement, but cash budgets haven't been around. I think that was 2022. So I'm talking about lots of things that came up about 4 years ago. And so therefore, are they on a cycle to come back up? There's nothing to stop them from repeating a cycle as well, by the way. They could have something last year and have it again this year. There's no reason for them not to. Paper's been around for long enough, but we're trying to predict. So cash budget, dealing with credit sales, credit purchases, different payment types, depreciation is included. What do you do with it? The layout of a cash budget, make sure you know them. It could be a 14, could be a 6. There's lots of different ways they could assess you on a cash budget. One thing they haven't done much on, pretty sure it's only been a multiple choice question, which is a bit like the sales budget last year. It's pretty much the first time sales budget has been assessed in anything above a multiple choice. Actually, may not have even a multiple choice. So purchase budget, maybe that's the time. And also dealing with opening and closing inventory adjustments, a bit like you would with a production budget like last year. Could be a good question, something to look at. Sales variances come up every year, don't they? Well, they didn't really last year, so got to come back around again, haven't they? If they do, sales variances have been criminally underrepresented in the papers and not really much on sales price or sales volume, so that could well be part of the mix. And that also, there could be some links to the benefits and drawbacks of standard costing. Why would standards be wrong? Are they too optimistic? Are they too challenging? Are they too easy? Whatever they might be, but the weaknesses of standard costing could come in. And equally, the profit reconciliation, again, only come up once. That could be linked to the sales variances. You could work out the sales variances. You could have been given the material and labor and then do a profit reconciliation. I could see that. That could come up. And profit reconciliation only once. Make sure you know how to deal with addition or a reduction in gain or loss contribution. Shall I say? It's a quick way of saying it. Have a look at the profit reconciliation. Investment appraisal. It's come up so often that surely this is the year it doesn't. But this is what I mean about cycles repeat themselves. Last year was 25 mark on investment appraisal. That was really due as well. I really felt that was coming up. And then before that, there were 20 mark sections on numerical and 6 markers on investment appraisal. They do like it, so they could do an essay again. They could do a full 20 mark section on investment appraisal if they wanted to, or they could do a shorter numerical, so it's a shorter lower mark numerical question on investment appraisal like they have. There's lots of past paper questions on it. Look at investment appraisal. Make sure you can calculate net present value and payback, and don't overcomplicate it. Essays, ratio analysis, sit on paper 1, paper 2, you can have a ratio analysis essay. Variances essay, the more I think about it, I think it's going to be a variances essay this year, but I've sort of nothing to base that on. They've been very good at varying their essay types the last couple of years, so you could have anything, but variances essay, definitely something to look out for, as well as an ethics essay, like I said, on paper 1. The one that I really feel is due and hasn't come up for a while is a closures essay. Now I've completed a video on closures before, so have a little look. But closures, just when we should close or not close a department, what factors we should consider before doing it, or what we could do to stop ourselves closing it. It's a good essay type. There's some technical geeky things to talk about with fixed overheads, with factors that could stop us from closing it, but definitely something to review. Anyway, this is paper 2. This is the 1st of June. I hope both papers go well, and I hope the revision is going well. Good luck.